So we've had a few requests about how to run a sub 20-minute time in the 5k. In this video, I'm going to give you some training advice and tips. If you were interested, I first ran a sub 20-minute 5k last winter with a time of 19:39 in a local park run. More recently, I ran a 5k time trial, which I finished in a time of 18:45, and I'll definitely keep up the training and keep improving on that time. So click up here if you want to see that video of the time trial. So here it is, my best tips and advice for running a sub 20-minute 5k. So I'm just going to say now, breaking 20 in the 5k, it isn't easy. If you can break 20, then you're really quite a fast runner. I would say this video is aimed at anyone with a PB that currently sits at just over 20 minutes up till about 23 minutes. Before I actually broke 20, it took me loads of times running in the 20s, in the 21s. So with time, you'll definitely be able to do it no matter how old you are and your current level of fitness. Before we start talking about training, I'm going to give you some general tips for running and breaking your PB in the 5k. So the first one is to start training at least 8 weeks before you hope to or go out and do your time trial to actually break 20 minutes. This will give your body time to adapt and adjust, and you'll be able to gain the fitness you need in order to get your goal. This obviously depends on where your PB currently is, so if you're really close to 20 minutes, it might be a bit less, and if you're up near the 23 mark, then it'll obviously be a bit longer. Secondly, you want to pick a course that you're familiar with and is effective when you're running, so this will be nice and flat with no sharp corners. It's good to always have run on a course before you actually do your time trial or race, because then you'll get to know it, you'll know the loop, you'll know where you're at, and it'll be much easier. Going with this, it's also good to get used to the 5k distance. We would actually recommend doing a baseline time trial or race. So before you start training, go out, run a 5k, see what you can get, and see how far away from your goal you are. This can often be quite motivating, and it can give you an idea of the way in which you need to move forward. And our last general tip is to find ways of motivating yourself. So this could be going out and running with a mate. It could be finding when's best for you, morning or evening. It could be food, whatever motivates you, then use that to your advantage, and that'll definitely help you get out and train and improve your time. I just wanted to add in here while I'm editing this video, if you have a watch, then it's going to make this so much easier. Without a watch, I think it's going to be really hard to know your paces, get your splits on sessions, whereas when you have it, it will literally transform your training. So I would definitely recommend having a watch. Without it, it's not going to be impossible to break 20 minutes, but it's definitely going to be harder. The watch that I've been using is the Garmin Forerunner 35. It's quite an old watch, but it works perfectly and does everything that I need it to do, and very well. There are other brands on the market, such as Polar and Coros, and they're also very good. I just like Garmin because I find it very easy to connect with the Garmin Connect app and then to Strava. So now we're going to move on to training. I'm just going to say that all of these tips, they've come from me and Owen. It's not professional advice, it's just what we found work really well for us in getting better and improving at like the 5k distance. So when I broke 20 in the 5k, I was training about 3-4 times a week. A session, a long run and an easy run, and yeah, within about 8 weeks of proper training I was able to do it. I did already have a PB of around 22 minutes I think, so it wasn't too much of a leap, but definitely going out and consistently running was what actually made it possible for me to do it. So the first training tip we've got is to build an aerobic base. So this means you're not actually going to be doing any kind of sessions or hard efforts for 2 to 3 weeks before you start your training block. This time when you build your aerobic base will mainly consist of easy running, and it allows your muscles to increase the oxygen supply, and this will help when you actually start your block. And I'm just going to say now, when I was training, this is something that I missed out, and if I was to go again, I would definitely include this in my plan. Obviously, running easy can be a bit boring, so some moderate and steady running is fine, just nothing at that threshold tempo, really fast pace. So the next tip is to build in sessions around race pace. Now this is a really good way of getting used to the pace, and your body kind of knows what running 4 minutes per K, which is what you need to break 20, feels like. So I did a few sessions like this. I did 6 by 1K with 90 seconds rest, all at that 4 minutes per K mark. I also did 4 by 1 mile with 3 minutes rest, again at the same pace, and you're just getting used to it. It's hard, these sessions, like for example 4 by 1 mile I found really hard. The fourth, it was towards the start of my training block, and in the 4th mile rep I don't think I even hit my pace, but it was a great way of getting my body used to it, and it gives you confidence going into it knowing that you've ran further than distance, even if it's a bit of rest in between each of the reps. This is also a good way of practicing your pacing, so when it comes to the actual race, you'll already be familiar with it and you'll be knowing what you're doing. So a bit slower than your race pace, tempo runs, or more specifically threshold runs, are a really great way of building your fitness. In these kind of sessions, you're running at a pace you could hold for 50 or 60 minutes at a maximum, so it's still quite fast and you'll feel like you're pushing yourself, but you shouldn't be in major pain, so you'll often be doing longer reps with some rest, and it just gets your body used to being on that lactic threshold. The actual term lactic threshold is when your body's removing lactic acid at the same pace it's using it, so you'll never feel that burn because you've never actually got a build up within your muscles. This lactic threshold is also known as comfortably hard. Now a few good sessions that I would recommend for this is a 3k, 2k, 1k, 1k, all around that pace. We've done a couple of videos where we did these sessions, so you can check those out. Again, another good one would be 5 by 6 minutes. That was a session we got from Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and it's great keeping you around that comfortably hard pace. Training your body with some of those short rests is a really good, effective way of improving your times. So towards the end of your block, as you're getting faster, as your body's getting fitter, it's good to do sessions faster than your race pace. So a few that we would recommend here are hill reps, so you can do shorter hill reps, for example 8 by 30 seconds. Interval sessions like 12 by 400 with 2 minutes rest, or 5 by 800 again with 2 minutes rest. Another great way is fartlek sessions, for example 10 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So all of these faster sessions are anaerobic sessions. That means that your body will be producing lots of lactic acid and you'll be feeling that burn. When you're doing your 5k time trial or race, you'll also be producing lots of lactic acid, so your body will be getting used to it in these sessions, and you'll be getting better at dealing with it, getting rid of it, and it will eventually improve your time. We're not going to go into too much depth on each of the sessions, but in the future we might do a video talking about specific ones. This is just more a baseline of how you can bring everything together to break that sub 20 mark. So the final thing that we will recommend is building up your mileage and then tapering. So if you look at your weeks, it should have an upward curve, then it should start to come down again as you begin to taper. And this is important that before you do your race or time trial, you do a bit of tapering, which means you ease off with the training to give your body some time to be fully prepared for your time trial or race. So that's about all of the general tips and training advice that we've got in this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure you hit subscribe, give the video a like, and comment any other videos we could do down below. We could do some training advice for other distances, other times. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.